Hello, I'm Daisha, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk all about setting goals for 2026, and I'm so excited for that. I love the thought of a new year, a clean slate. But what happens when you lose that motivation from the beginning of the year? You're getting tired, you're getting burnt out, things are not going your way, and now you're tired. That is what I'm hoping to overcome this year. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. At the beginning of the year, you have all this motivation, you have all these things you want to accomplish, and then February, March comes around and you've lost it. I'm just like picturing, just years past. There are parts of my life where it's been easier to stick to the goals that I've set, right? I started this business back in April of 2025, and I feel like I've been very consistent with it. But I never really set intentions or goals at the beginning of the year. So I never had like a clear path of necessarily where I wanted it to go. Versus this year, I have some ideas and some goals and like just a clearer path of what I want to accomplish. That does not mean it's about to be easier. However, I'm excited to get started. So you might have seen this board before. I did post it in short content, and then there's another creator. If I remember who it is, I'll tag her. But she actually had this board where she had all 12 months laid out, and she also did something called the 12-week year. And I was like, what is that? And I found out the 12-week year is actually a book. It's a book. It's upon me. The 12-Week Year is a book by Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. And it's all about breaking up, instead of looking at a year to get a goal done, looking at a year as in 12 weeks. So it's a 12-week year, meaning that you only have 12 weeks to accomplish this in this amount of time, which means that you have to be more consistent, more intentional every single day. Because if I tell you you have until December 31st to do something, you're going to wait until that long. But if I tell you the end of the year is March 31st, it makes a different kind of, you know what I mean? Like it gives you some more drive. And as I read this book, because you could say it's like, wow, revolutionary, right? As I listened to it, though, it made sense. And I'm like, I really want to take this and see what I can do. So with this book, I created one personal goal and one business goal. So what I'm going to talk today about is the business goal. But obviously, having a goal is nice. We need systems, right? You need a way to achieve that goal, because if it was that easy, you would have already done it, right? If the goal was that achievable, you wouldn't be sitting here because you would have already done it. There's something holding you back. And for me, it's the systems. So I'm going to show you a little bit more of my board in a minute. And then also talk about how it's up there in the back, because I actually made a vision board on the other side. So my goal for my business is to make $6,000 in revenue in the first 12 weeks, which my 12-week year is going to start on January 5th, just because that's when I go back to work. It just makes the most sense in like getting back into a routine. And that means my 12-week year will go all the way until the last week of March. And you might be wondering, how did I come up with that number? So I did want to make something that could be attainable, but was also a stretch goal. And this year, my business made around $8,500 in revenue. So obviously 6,000 in 3 months versus how long it took me to make almost $9,000 is going to be a difference. However, if I'm being intentional about how I'm getting there, then it might be something that I can do. So you might be thinking, how are you going to make $6,000? Like, I can't force people to buy from me, right? However, I can be intentional in my marketing and how I present myself online, and hope that that translates to sales. And if I'm wrong about the money equating, like the money, um, like my work that I'm putting in is different than how much I make, either way, I will still have made progress in my business. And then if I necessarily don't hit that if I don't necessarily hit that $6,000 revenue goal, but I did the things that I set out to do, I will still consider it a success, if that makes sense. But I really want to hit that goal. What are the things that I'm going to be doing to try to hit this goal? So, one thing that I want to do and be intentional about is I want to send an email to my email list one time every week. This year, I've been very inconsistent with it. It's mostly because sometimes I just don't know what to say, right? Like, I'm sitting here typing like an email and like putting all this stuff in it, and I'm like, what do I even say? So, I kind of sketched out like pillars of things to include in every email and kind of made like a menu board of what those things could be. So I actually already have my first one scheduled. I'm very excited about that. And it basically just talks about the new year. In it, I advertise my growth era annotation kit, which would be perfect for a book like this one to annotate. I actually did not annotate this one. I listened to it on audio because I figured I might if I hated it, but then I actually enjoyed it, so I bought it, and I am going to go back and like slowly annotate it. But anyway, so the growth annotation kit, and then I just talk about like what I'm reading, how I'm wrapping up the end of the year, just trying to make it like a cozy kind of thing. And I even made like an email header that says like it tells you that I can't remember what the tagline is. Something about your cozy Thursday reading, whatever. So that's just letting them know like, hey, expect this on Thursday. Just setting the intention of like what it's going to be. And then obviously I can send um like coupon codes, stuff like that, anything that drops, they will get that email there. One reason I really wanted to do this is because my email list has grown. I am able to advertise in this Facebook book group. And the thing that I have been advertising a lot is when I have a free annotation PDF guide that tells you like why I annotate and why you should too, and just talks about like how to get started. So people have been interested in that. And then also for Christmas, I made a coloring book, like bookmark freebie. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you got the bookmark freebie. And that's done really well. So to keep with that, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, I'm making another one for Valentine's Day that I will start advertising very soon. Like it's made. I just need to, get ready to make all the stuff. Um, but that's been a really good way of having that direct traffic. Like if I lose my Instagram tomorrow, I still have my email list. And that's was something that when I first got started, people kept saying is that's what you need. So email marketing is one of my number one priorities. Another one is this YouTube channel. I've really enjoyed posting on YouTube. I've been consistent with it though because some weeks I have more time to film than others. So being intentional about sitting down and filming, I realized actually like talk through videos like this is easier to edit than a studio vlog. So just being able to throw more videos in like this and just like thinking of topics to talk about because I have plenty of things to yap about. Um, just being intentional in that planning, and that way I'm not like at the last minute trying to figure out what to do. So that's why I made a schedule of when I'm going to film, when I'm going to edit, and then what day my YouTube videos are going to be uploaded and emails. Another way to market, gain followers, that kind of thing on Instagram is to do giveaways. My giveaways in the past have been a little more sporadic. They've done well, but sometimes I'm just like, I think I'll do a giveaway today. And then I do it. You know what I mean? And I just want to be more intentional. That way I'm not stressing out about when to do it. So I planned out a giveaway each month. So like in January, I'm probably going to do a giveaway of the Valentine's Day collection that I just created. And I think that'll do well because people usually like stuff like that. But even like this week in March, like I did the third week of every month, but in March, I know I'll be going on spring break the week that actually falls. So I just moved it to the next one. So just like planning ahead, it's like, oh, I know I'm going to be gone, so I need to move this. Um, so yeah, just basically being intentional and setting up systems where this makes sense. So like right now, my issue is like filming and editing fall on the weekend, and sometimes I'm like don't feel like filming on Saturday after I'm done working, which means on Sunday it's supposed to be my editing day, but I never filmed. So just kind of like actually blocking that into the calendar, like on your to-do list today is to film. It's not a if I feel like it, I'll film. No, you have to film. Otherwise, you're not going to get to edit. And I've talked a little bit about social media before, but I always batch create my content. Um, so just making multiple videos at one time. That way it's not the whole process of having to sit up and gather all the things, film it, edit that one video, and then now you have other things. So the goal for Saturday is to do one long form and then the short form that I need to fill out the week. Typically, I've stayed pretty ahead lately on short form content, like actually filming it. So if for some reason I didn't get enough for the whole week, I should have enough left over from the week that I'm currently in, if that makes sense, to kind of fill those holes. But yeah, that's the big thing about my calendar. Some things I want to, I did add some like important dates. So like February is Black History Month, March is Women's History Month. So keeping those things in mind as I plan for the month and like any drops that I want to do. Like I said, Valentine's Day. Another thing that I've been really struggling with is like waiting too close to time to have like product drops. So this one I feel so good. Like the Valentine's Day drop like idea is already done. I've made them, they're printed. I've taken photos today. I started editing the photos, and it's not even January first. Wait, it's not even January yet. That's what I meant to say. So I'm in a really good spot because I said I gave myself until I think January 10th to have all the Valentine's Day stuff ready. And it's pretty much ready now. Like I might upload the listing this week. And that feels so good. To be ahead, which is why I wanted to like see all of the major holidays that I truly care about making something for or promoting for and going from there. My other thing or other date of the week, once a month, I'm going to batch my Pinterest content. And on that week, um, but that'll be my main focus. So each month, just go ahead and schedule all my Pinterest content. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've seen like people talk about, especially with aesthetic niches, Pinterest works really well. And I feel like the book community is pretty, like, falls into that. So I'm just going to kind of see how it goes and go from there. So when I first started posting on Pinterest, I had like 300 monthly views or something like really low. And then it grew up to like 4,000. So I don't know how much it actually converted, but there were definitely eyes on the things that I was posting, which could lead to sales. So I'm going to try Pinterest for a while and just go from there. So um, those are my main concerns: Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. Oh, and email. And then my other thought for the calendar is being in the bookish niche, like when books come out, especially ones that I'm interested in and I think would do good with like an annotation kit, being aware of that because I'm really bad about knowing when books come out. Like terrible at it. Like anyone time that anyone posts like their anticipated reads, I'm always looking at it because I'm like, oh, I don't know any of these books coming out. So being able to add things like that to this would also be phenomenal. I'm going to show you a more up close look at the calendar and my vision board and just talk a little bit more about the vision that I'm seeing. All right, so let's look at my calendar a little bit better. So here is what I have tentatively planned for January. I put it on sticky notes. That way I can easily move something around if I have to, but I'm trying to have it set where this is where it falls. And then I kept the whole 12-week period in the same order, but I did not go ahead and do the rest of the year. Obviously, I'm trying to assess and then tweak as needed, but I do want to be able to do it long enough to see like what worked and what doesn't. So here I just kind of penciled in some videos. I posted that Etsy listing video on the 28th. I'm filming the goal board video, which is this today on the 30th. And then maybe I'll be able to get it edited tomorrow and uploaded. So we'll see. I didn't really have a hard date for that because, like I said, it doesn't actually start until the week of the 5th, where it says week 1. So I'm not too pressed if I don't get it up, but I do think having the goal board video up for the beginning of the year would be beneficial. All right, let me turn it around so I can show you the back. Oh, so let me tell you about that first. So I use the Command strips that are for, I think, hanging picture frames, and I have them on both sides. So this side has them and the other side has them, so I can like just turn this around and you can see either one at any time. So if I need more inspiration, I'll turn it to the vision board. So let me flip it to that side. All right, and here is the other side. So just some mantras like my business is successful, financial freedom is calling, I am my highest priority, and just some different things that are inspirational to me that I find, inspiring. There's daily affirmations. I'm a successful business owner. And in the mix of that, I just put colors together that I enjoy. And then also just putting like textures and papers that I like on here. And then I also made these little clipboards. So like this one says business growth. So here are some ideas that I have to grow my business. They may not exactly happen in this first 12 weeks, but this is what I'm looking forward to. So like this year, I really want to build my own website. I'm solely selling on Etsy. That's something that I want to do. So this is like my product expansion. It's just like a dump of like ideas that I have. So like right now I'm working on the Valentine's Day launch. However, here are some things that I'm thinking about adding. Creative direction. So like what I can add to the shop. So I just love this. I think my word of the year is going to be consistency. So I think I may add that to the top, especially since this top part is empty. Here I have just some YouTube ideas. So yeah, I just like seeing this. My brain gets very chaotic. So I think being able to have a place to just throw my sticky notes after I write them and being able to come back to it and see it anytime is going to be very beneficial. So, and I also like that it's the back, so I'm not having to take up too much space. It's just one trifold board, and I'll just flip it over whenever I feel like. So, so again, I'm just really excited to embark on this journey and just be intentional and see what I'm capable of when I really put my nose to the grindstone and get some things done. Because I do think I have been successful this year without even really having a plan. So I'm excited to see what happens when I'm more intentional. And I have roped my husband into having the meetings with me that go along with the 12-week plan and 12-week year, I mean. And I don't know, I'm excited. So I will definitely be checking back in with you about how everything's going and adjusting from here and taking you along with the process. So let me know, have you started your goal setting for 2026? Are you excited? Are you nervous? What are you embarking on this year? All right. Bye, guys.